What do high-value men really want in the woman beside them? Psychology tips. Love is not just looking at each other, it's looking outward together in the same direction. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. It's 2025. A flawless feed and a charming smile don't hold a relationship together anymore. And pretending they do has too many men dating like philanthropists. If you're investing drive, discipline, guidance, protection, provision, and a clear vision, it's rational, not ruthless, to ask, what's the return on that investment? Some will label that controlling. It isn't. Expectations are not oppression, they're boundaries. Meanwhile, culture keeps telling men to be everything. Tall, solvent, calm, fit, funny, emotionally fluent, spiritually anchored, then shames you for asking what she contributes beyond aesthetics. That double standard? Hard pass. Healthy relationships are partnerships, not subsidies. If you don't define what you need from the woman beside you, you will pay for it later, in energy, time, and peace of mind. Resentment is the invoice that arrives when standards go unnamed. So let's cut the noise. In this video, I'm laying out 8 practical, psychology-backed qualities a high-value woman brings to the table. Not dusty gender scripts, not fairy tales. Real markers that separate a partner from a passenger. Think reciprocal effort, emotional steadiness, respect for your mission, competence in real life, loyalty in hard seasons, and the ability to build, not just consume. If that makes you squirm a bit, good. Discomfort is the doorway to growth. By the end, you'll see relationships through a clearer lens, and you won't trade your purpose for pretty packaging ever again. 1. She must add value, not stress. One of the most overlooked truths in relationships today is this: she must add value, not stress. In 2025, the biggest mistake a man can make is tolerating a woman who drains his energy instead of fueling his purpose. Don't fool yourself. Relationships are not meant to subtract from your peace. They're supposed to multiply it. That is the equation every high-value man should memorize. If she's bringing nothing but complaints, chaos, or constant drama, you're not in a relationship, you're in unpaid overtime, babysitting an adult who refuses to grow. And you must stop confusing her presence with her contribution. Just showing up doesn't count. Don't settle for a pretty face with nothing behind it. Be smarter than that. Be the man who understands that value isn't about her bank account or her job title. Value means she's actively making your life smoother, healthier, and more balanced. That's where real love advice, psychology tips, and dating tips come alive. A high-value woman doesn't compete with you. She builds with you. She knows how to step into your world and make it stronger, not heavier. She brings emotional support, calms your storms, and pushes you closer to your goals without ever clipping your wings. She's the partner who listens without judgment, steps in where you're weak, and amplifies your strengths until you're firing on all cylinders. Too many men settle for women who believe their beauty is enough currency. They look good on Instagram, they post pictures, they take, but they never give. Don't let yourself be tricked. A woman who doesn't add value will eventually sabotage your progress, no matter how successful you are. Carrying dead weight in your personal life always slows you down. That is a fact. So imagine this. You've worked your 9 to 5, you're grinding on your side business at night, chasing your vision like your life depends on it. A woman who adds value. She shows up with a meal so you don't skip dinner. She encourages you when self-doubt creeps in. She helps organize your notes, brainstorms ideas, and makes you feel like you're not alone on the battlefield. That's value. That's partnership. Now picture the opposite. A woman who complains you're always busy, picks fights because she's bored, and guilt trips you for not giving her endless attention. That's stress. That's distraction. That's sabotage disguised as love. Which one do you think helps you win? The answer is obvious, but too many men ignore it until it's too late. Don't be one of them. Understand this clearly. A woman who adds value is not necessarily the loudest or the flashiest. She's often the one who notices the small details, the one who brings order where there's chaos, the one who creates stability so you can take risks. She's not standing in your way, she's clearing the path. And the truth is, men don't need someone who makes life harder. They need someone who makes life lighter. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Psychology tips and dating tips both agree. Stress in a relationship kills faster than silence. Be with someone who helps you breathe easier, not someone who leaves you gasping for air. So here's the bottom line. Don't tolerate a woman who takes without giving. Don't confuse attraction with partnership. Don't waste your best years carrying someone who refuses to walk beside you. Be intentional. Be disciplined. Be the man who knows his worth and demands the same in return. A high-value man must have a high-value woman, or the relationship will collapse under its own weight. That is the truth. And once you embrace it, your entire perspective on love, relationships, and life will change forever. 2. Respect over entitlement. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Love without respect is useless. That's not just psychology, it's survival. A woman can say, "I love you," 10 times a day, but if she doesn't respect you, every "I love you" is just background noise, while your confidence and dignity quietly bleed out. And let's be real, too many men are trapped in relationships where women feel entitled to their money, time, and energy, while offering zero respect in return. That's not love. That's a bad business deal you never signed up for. Respect isn't worship. Respect doesn't mean she bows at your feet or calls you king before every dinner. It means she sees your effort, acknowledges your leadership, and values you as a man. Simple, clear, necessary. Entitlement, on the other hand, is a silent killer. It's when she expects your best without giving her best. She feels owed your hard work, your patience, your wallet. And that's dangerous. Why? Because entitlement breeds laziness, manipulation, and endless dissatisfaction. Don't ignore this. Don't excuse it. Because once entitlement sneaks in, it won't stop. The poison of disrespect. You can't build a future with someone who mocks your grind, talks down to you in public, or constantly compares you to other men. That is poison. A woman who disrespects you is not your partner. She's your enemy disguised as love. Respect is not optional. It is the foundation. Without it, every decision you make will be undermined. Every plan you set will be questioned, and she'll secretly believe she could do better. And once she believes that, she'll either treat you like a placeholder or eventually replace you. High-value men don't tolerate that. You must set the standard. Don't be trapped by beauty alone. Here's where many men fall. They get blinded by beauty or chemistry. They confuse attraction with compatibility. Let me put it bluntly. A woman who doesn't respect you will eventually destroy you, no matter how good she looks or how exciting the early days felt. Love psychology is clear on this. Respect isn't a bonus. It's the glue. Ignore that, and you'll end up chasing relationship goals that were doomed from the start. The fear of being alone. Now here's the sad part. Too many men stay in disrespectful relationships because they fear loneliness more than dishonor. But hear me. Being single is 1,000 times better than being disrespected in your own home. You are not a guest in your own life. Stop acting like one. Respect builds. Entitlement destroys. Picture this. You're saving money for a down payment on a house. A respectful woman will support you. She'll cut back on unnecessary spending. She'll admire your discipline. Together, you're building something solid. Now flip the script. An entitled woman will complain you're cheap. She'll demand vacations, designer handbags, and weekend getaways, then shame you for not spoiling her enough. That's not partnership, that's sabotage. One builds your future, the other tears it apart, brick by brick. And when entitlement takes over, don't be surprised when resentment quietly moves in as the third partner in your relationship. And trust me, resentment doesn't leave easily. The choice is yours. So, what do high-value men really want? Respect over entitlement. A woman who values their leadership, effort, and vision. A partner, not a parasite. A builder, not a complainer. Be bold enough to demand it. Don't settle. Because when respect is present, love grows. When respect is absent, love withers. And no amount of beauty, chemistry, or false I love yous will save it. You must choose wisely. Your relationship goals depend on it. If you found this valuable, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs this truth, and don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom on relationships and psychology. Comment to remember. I choose respect over entitlement. 3. Emotional support is non-negotiable. Emotional support is non-negotiable. It is the hidden fuel of a man's strength. And if you want to understand what high-value men truly desire in the woman beside them, hear this clearly. A man does not need more battles at home, he needs an ally. Society has always shouted at men, man up, endure, be unshakable like an old Stoic of Rome. But even the greatest Stoics, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, knew that strength does not mean isolation. The modern Stoic knows this truth even more, because in today's world, with its chaotic economy, relentless competition, and endless distractions, life is designed to break you down. Home must not be another battlefield. Don't misunderstand. Emotional support doesn't mean fixing every problem. It means standing firm beside him when storms rage, believing in him when doubt attacks, and giving him the strength to continue when his own resolve falters. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. And yet even mastery is easier with someone who whispers, I believe in you, when the weight feels unbearable. You must demand this, because if you are walking on eggshells around her, then she is not supporting you. She is competing with the enemies you already fight outside. That is destructive, not empowering. That is weakness disguised as partnership. Don't let it poison you. Instead, insist on a woman whose presence recharges you, not drains you, because modern Stoicism is not about suppressing your humanity. It's about mastering it with discipline, while also allowing space for connection. High-value men know the truth. When life hits hard, the voice you hear at home can be the difference between quitting on yourself and rising stronger. Remember the words of Napoleon Bonaparte. Give me enough medals, and I'll win you any war. For men, emotional support from the right woman is that medal. It is recognition. It is validation. It is silent strength. You must guard this truth. You must not tolerate constant criticism or doubt from the one who claims to love you, because love without support is nothing more than a hollow word. Don't settle. Don't compromise. Don't confuse chaos with passion or drama with devotion. Let's be clear. A supportive woman does not nag. She does not belittle. She does not strip you of your dignity. She amplifies your power. That is the standard. That is the requirement. And if she cannot meet it, then you must ask yourself with ruthless honesty, why is she even in your life? Great men throughout history understood this. The old Stoic accepted suffering as part of existence, but he also understood the value of those who stood beside him. The modern Stoic applies the same wisdom today. Demand peace at home, demand loyalty in private, demand support in silence. Life will throw its storms, but if the woman beside you steadies your hand instead of shaking it, then you are not only surviving, you are conquering. So take this as instruction, not suggestion. Protect your energy, Protect your mind and protect your circle. Don't let the wrong presence drain you. Choose wisely, demand loyalty, and remember, emotional support is not weakness. It is strength multiplied. And the man who has that beside him is unstoppable. 4. Financial contribution matters too. For too long, men have been brainwashed with the same outdated script. Your worth as a man equals how much you can provide. Pay all the bills, shower her with gifts, cover every expense, and voila, she'll adore you forever. Wrong. That's not love. That's a financial illusion. In 2025, believing money alone will secure loyalty isn't just naive, it's reckless. Because if you're the only one pouring into the pot while she just dips her hand in and spends, you don't have a relationship, you have a charity. And let's be honest, charity might make you feel generous for a while, but eventually it drains you, frustrates you, and leaves you broke in spirit and bank account. That's not masculine strength, that's financial self-sabotage. A healthy woman doesn't want to ride on your shoulders until you collapse. She wants to walk beside you, co-building wealth, stability, and a future. That is what true partnership looks like. Yet many men are still too afraid to demand this because they think asking for financial contribution makes them less of a man. Don't buy into that weakness. Be smart. Be grounded. You must understand that masculinity is not about being exploited. It's about creating balance where both partners invest not only emotionally and mentally, but yes, financially too. And don't twist my words. Nobody says your woman must match your paycheck dollar for dollar. Contribution is not about equality in numbers. It's about equality in effort. Maybe she pays the utilities, maybe she handles groceries. Maybe she's the one who keeps investments organized or manages money with discipline so the household doesn't burn cash like a bonfire. Every bit counts. A woman who respects you will look for ways to lighten the load, not pile more weight on it. She will add to the pot instead of draining it dry. And if she refuses, then you must face the truth. She's not a partner, she's a liability. Too many men confuse financial responsibility with sacrifice, believing that being a real man means bleeding their wallets dry for love. Stop it. Don't trade your hard-earned peace of mind for temporary affection. Don't think buying her the world means she'll hand you respect. That is a dangerous lie that ruins too many men in silence. The man who thinks money buys loyalty often ends up resentful, empty, and bitter, wondering why she never treated him as her king. But here's the psychology tip most men ignore. Respect is not bought, it's built. Built through shared responsibility, through mutual investment, through both of you showing up as adults in the relationship. This is love advice at its sharpest. If you want long-term passion and respect, stop confusing dependence with devotion. A woman who truly values you wants to help build your empire, not just spend the treasures of it. Be bold enough to draw the line. Say it clearly. I need a partner, not a passenger. That is not cruelty. That is clarity. And trust me, high-value women love clarity. They admire men who set standards. They respect men who refuse to play the role of ATM machine disguised as boyfriend or husband. This is one of those dating tips that could save your future. Don't overlook it. Because in the end, you have to ask yourself one brutal question. Do you want a queen who builds castles with you, brick by brick, or a passenger who just rides shotgun until your tank runs out of gas? Choose wisely, because the answer determines whether you thrive in love or collapse under the weight of carrying it alone. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. 5. Loyalty is rare, demand it. Let's stop pretending. Loyalty today is like gold dust. You'll rarely find it, and when you do, you'd better guard it with your life. In 2025, the world is a buffet of distractions. Social media feeds are filled with shiny options. Temptation arrives in DMs like clockwork, and attention spans are shorter than ever. That's why loyalty has become a luxury, a priceless currency in the game of relationships. And if the woman beside you can't give you that loyalty in her heart, mind, and actions, then everything else, her beauty, her charm, even her so-called love, becomes meaningless. Loyalty is more than not cheating. Don't reduce loyalty to not sleeping around. That's the bare minimum. Real loyalty runs deeper. It's about her standing firm beside you when the storm hits. It's about defending your name when you're not there to defend yourself. It's about ignoring the cheap thrill of validation from strangers because her attention is reserved for you. Think of loyalty as a daily decision. She must choose you over and over when life offers her 100 exits. That's not romance fluff. That's love psychology at its core. And if she can't do that, then she's not aligned with your relationship goals. Early red flags you ignore. Here's where most men mess up. They ignore the early signs. She flirts a little too freely. She keeps male best friends who test boundaries. She laughs off late-night DMs as just fun. And you? You convince yourself it's harmless. Wake up. If she craves constant male attention, she'll never truly belong to you. Don't explain it away. Don't excuse it. That little voice in your head, it's not paranoia. It's your instinct warning you. Loyalty cuts both ways. Now, don't get it twisted. You can't demand loyalty while you're out there playing games. That double standard is a ticking time bomb. If you expect her to choose you daily, you must also choose her. Integrity matters. A real man sets the standard first. He shows what loyalty looks like and then requires it in return. This isn't just about keeping her faithful. It's about building a culture of trust. Because hypocrisy, it will eat your relationship alive from the inside out. Loyalty protects your empire. Think about it. What's the point of grinding, hustling, building wealth, shaping your legacy, if the woman at your side can't even guard your name? Loyalty is protection. It shields your peace, your goals, your reputation. Without it, you're building a mansion on sand. Picture this. You're climbing the mountain of success, but she's entertaining every passerby at base camp. What's the point? You're supposed to be a team, not a public playground. Don't settle for half in, half out. Never settle for a woman who's halfway in. That's like hiring a bodyguard who leaves the door unlocked. If she's not committed in full, she's not committed at all. And here's the truth. In a world that sells endless options, loyalty is the ultimate flex. It's rare, it's priceless, and it's non-negotiable. Don't let loneliness or impatience trick you into accepting less. Loyalty isn't optional, it's the foundation. Without it, the relationship crumbles, no matter how good everything else looks on the outside. If she can't give you loyalty, she doesn't deserve the life you're offering. Be clear, be firm, demand it, because at the end of the day, every high-value man knows this truth. Loyalty isn't just about who she's with when she's in your arms, it's about who she is when you're not around. So set your relationship goals high. Understand the love psychology at play. And remember, attract women who are capable of loyalty, not just attraction. Because loyalty isn't just love, it's legacy. 6. A growth mindset or nothing. Don't compromise. Don't negotiate. Don't play small. Here's the truth. A stagnant woman will weigh you down just as much as a toxic one. In 2025, life moves fast. Technology is evolving daily. Money shifts hands overnight. Health demands discipline. Relationships demand adaptability. If the woman beside you does not embrace growth, she will drag you into the swamp of comfort, laziness, and mediocrity. You must demand more. You must demand a growth mindset. That is the line in the sand. A woman with a growth mindset doesn't settle. She learns, adapts, and improves, whether it's in her career, her health, her emotional strength, or her spiritual depth. She refuses to stay stuck. She refuses to live in yesterday. She refuses to accept mediocrity as her identity. Marcus Aurelius, the old Stoic emperor, once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That is Stoicism. That is the core of strength. If your partner isn't living this truth, she is not a partner. She's dead weight. Don't fool yourself. A woman who spends her life gossiping, scrolling endlessly on her phone, or living on repeat like a broken record will smother your ambition. She cannot challenge you. She cannot inspire you. She cannot expand your vision. And if she cannot grow, she cannot help you grow. Stop settling for surface-level beauty that fades. Start demanding substance that lasts. High-value men don't settle for decoration. They demand elevation. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be." Apply that to your relationships. Decide to be with someone who decides to grow. That is non-negotiable. Let's get clear. You need a woman who says, "Let's read together. Let's work out together. Let's build wealth together. Let's face challenges together." That's partnership. That's power. That's victory. Because when two people evolve together, they become unstoppable. The bond becomes iron. The relationship becomes a fortress. A beautiful face will fade, but a woman with a growth mindset will make your life better every single year, without exception. If she's not growing, you won't either. And that's the cold, hard truth most men ignore. So let's be decisive. Let's be modern Stoics. Let's cut away weakness, distraction, and stagnation. Don't tolerate mediocrity in the one person who should be fueling your fire. If you choose a stagnant partner, you choose a stagnant life. If you choose a woman who refuses to grow, you choose to suffocate your destiny. But if you choose a woman who lives with the mindset of progress, the spirit of resilience, and the courage of stoicism, you choose a life of expansion, prosperity, and victory. Seneca, the old Stoic, wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Don't waste your time. Don't waste your life. Don't waste your potential with someone who refuses to evolve. A high-value man knows his worth. He knows his mission. He knows his time is his greatest asset, and he knows he cannot waste it on anyone who holds him back. The world is moving fast, and you must move faster. Growth is not optional. Evolution is not optional. Victory is not optional. The woman beside you must be ready to grow, or she cannot stand beside you at all. That is the command. That is the standard. That is the rule. If you believe a stagnant partner drags you down, then declare it loud. I choose growth over mediocrity. 7. Communication skills and conflict resolution. Let's get real for a second. Conflict is not the enemy. Immaturity is. Any relationship between two grown adults will face disagreements. It's inevitable. You're two different people, with different upbringings, opinions, and ways of seeing the world. That's normal. But here's the hard truth. The way she handles those conflicts reveals everything about her character and her value. Does she approach issues like a grounded woman who seeks resolution, or does she throw tantrums like a child who never learned how to manage her emotions? Don't ignore this difference, because it will define the future of your peace of mind. A high-value woman doesn't weaponize silence, and she doesn't treat communication like a battlefield where she must win at all costs. She doesn't humiliate you by airing private matters on Facebook or using Instagram stories as her therapy session. That's childish, and you must recognize it. A woman of real worth takes a deep breath, listens, really listens to what you're saying, and looks for a solution that strengthens the bond instead of tearing it apart. That is emotional maturity in action, and it's one of the most underrated psychology tips you'll ever learn. On the other hand, a woman who lacks communication skills will drown you in chaos. Every small disagreement becomes a full-blown crisis. You forget to text? She yells. You stay late at work? She accuses you of neglect. You express a different opinion? She storms out like she's auditioning for a soap opera. Live with that long enough, and you won't feel loved. You'll feel trapped in a never-ending cycle of drama. And let's be honest, no man with self-respect, no man who values his energy and time, should tolerate living inside a circus where he's always forced to juggle her emotions. Don't call it passion. Don't call it love. Call it what it is, emotional warfare. And if you accept it, you'll lose yourself in the battle. Now picture this scenario. You're already under pressure from deadlines, bosses breathing down your neck, and life throwing its usual curveballs. You come home hoping for peace, comfort, maybe even a little laughter. Instead, you open the door to a war zone where every word feels like a landmine. You breathe wrong, and it's an argument. That's not love. That's not partnership. That's a ticking time bomb with no safe exit. Don't allow it. Don't normalize it. A woman who thrives on conflict doesn't just drain you. She destroys the foundation of trust, intimacy, and respect. But here's where the magic happens. When you're with a woman who knows how to communicate, even conflicts become opportunities. Instead of slamming doors, she opens them wider. Instead of screaming louder, she speaks clearer. Instead of using words to wound, she uses them to connect. That's when disagreements transform into stepping stones toward deeper understanding. Suddenly, arguments aren't battles, they're bridges. That's not weakness, that's strength. That's not drama, that's growth. And that is the kind of maturity that keeps love alive long after the honeymoon phase fades. So here's the love advice you must remember. Don't fall for the woman who excites you with chaos. Fall for the one who stabilizes you with clarity. Don't mistake constant fighting for passion. It's poison in disguise. Be smart enough to recognize the difference. High-value men don't need a woman who mirrors their stress. They need one who diffuses it. That is why communication skills and conflict resolution aren't just nice-to-haves. They are deal breakers. If she can't talk through problems like an adult, then she's not ready for the kind of relationship you deserve. Take this as one of the best dating tips you'll ever get. Choose peace over drama, substance over spectacle, and emotional intelligence over temporary thrill. Because at the end of the day, any woman can catch your eye. But only the woman who knows how to handle conflict with grace, empathy, and respect can truly keep your heart. And if you want lasting happiness, you must demand nothing less. 8. Emotional independence. Emotional independence isn't just a nice quality. It's the X factor that separates a true partner from someone who drains your soul. Looks may attract women to you at first, and yes, money can grease the wheels of daily life. But without inner strength, none of it sticks. It crumbles like sand between your fingers. A high-value woman doesn't beg you to be the sole source of her happiness. She builds her own fire. She has passions that light up her world, goals that keep her sharp, and a backbone that helps her rise after life knocks her flat. That makes her not just a stronger individual, but a powerhouse of positive energy that fuels you instead of draining you. The opposite is a nightmare you don't want to live. A woman without emotional independence will lean on you for every mood, every insecurity, every dip in her self-esteem. At first, you might mistake it for devotion. Don't. That endless need for validation will bleed you dry. Instead of chasing your relationship goals, you'll be stuck playing therapist, fixer, and emotional crutch. Exhausting? You bet. Picture it like this. You're climbing a mountain, hungry for the summit. A true partner is beside you, gripping the rocks, pulling her own weight, matching your stride. But the wrong woman? She sits on your back, refusing to move. You're not climbing together, you're hauling dead weight, and no man reaches the top that way. Now, imagine the right one. She's emotionally independent, steady on her feet, hand locked with yours as you climb side by side. She doesn't slow you down, she pushes you higher. That is what love psychology teaches us. When two people carry their own strength, their bond becomes more than comfort. It becomes a launch pad. Don't settle for a partner who needs rescuing. Be with the woman who rescues herself, then chooses to stand with you. That's the kind of woman high-value men want. That's the kind of relationship that thrives. And if you're serious about attracting women who match your fire, you must remember, emotional independence isn't optional. It's everything. At the end of the day, men, you have to stop lowering your standards just to keep a woman. Too many guys are afraid of being called controlling or toxic for expecting something real in return. But here's the truth. A woman who brings nothing but looks to the table is not a partner. She's a dependent. And depending on a man without giving back is just modern-day entitlement dressed up as femininity. Now, I know that statement will trigger some people, and that's fine. If you're watching this and you've experienced either side of this, maybe you carried someone who drained you, or maybe you had a woman who truly added value, drop your story in the comments. I'll read them and I'll be reaching out to connect. Remember this. The woman beside you should be your teammate, not your burden. Anything less, and you're selling yourself short. So my advice? Respect yourself enough to expect reciprocity. Don't settle for less just to avoid being alone, because the right woman will add to your life, not drain it. Click on that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Take care of yourselves, brothers, and I'll see you in the next one.